Hi everyone. So in this video I'm going to give like a brief overview on what has happened in the last 2 years in the three major Shonen magazines. So we have Weekly Shonen Jump, Weekly Shonen Magazine and Weekly Shonen Sunday. I will mostly focus on Weekly Shonen Jump, giving a little bit more details and a few of my kind of first thoughts on some of the series that are currently running. Weekly Shonen Magazine and Sunday, there's not as much information readily available out there, so I'll briefly go over some of the series and hopefully that'll be enough. Okay, so we'll start with Weekly Shonen Jump. So I usually prefer to go to the source directly to get all my information. So here we have the Weekly Shonen Jump Japanese version of the site. I do know the English version done by Viz Media have also revamped their site, but yeah, I've always preferred to use the Japanese one. But they have redesigned their site, so I'm quite impressed. There's a bit of artwork behind that once you load actually is the first thing you see, and it's pretty nice. You see some of the main characters behind there. Brilliant. Okay, so let's have a look at the series that are currently running in Weekly Shonen Jump. I'm sure most of you guys already know this. Okay, so we have One Piece, of course. Hunter x Hunter is listed as current series. I believe it's on its break. I believe it came back sometime last year, the end of last year, for a few chapters, but nothing new has come out. Or was it only coming out once a month? I'll probably have to go and look on that. Won't say on here. And then we have Haikyuu. Amazing that's still going on, pretty strong. I do know it has quite a huge fan base in Japan. They even have several kind of musical and stage plays for Haikyuu. We have Shokugeki no Soma, Food Wars. The anime has been well received internationally, and I hear from a lot of friends where they try to recreate some of the foods shown in the series. Hinomaru Zumo. So this is the wrestling series. I used to read this as well, and I really liked it until up to a point where I just got tired of it. And I think a lot of the people in Japan are also starting to get tired because despite it having an anime out this season, it's still pretty far down in terms of the rankings from what I've seen recently. We have Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia, Black Clover. The anime is doing pretty well from what I hear. It's going on, I think, 50 episodes now. I haven't been watching the anime. I prefer to read the manga for reasons. And this series here, I can never remember the name. Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs. Yes, I have wiki just to help me in case I forget some of this. And then we have Yaiba, Kimetsu no Yaiba, I think it's called, right? Yeah, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Okay, good. I'm not losing my memories. Boruto, I believe that they release a chapter like once a month. That's how it used to be. I'm not sure if they're still doing that. The Promised Neverland. This is probably my second favorite series in the whole of Jump, Weekly Shonen Jump at the moment. Of course, number one is One Piece, but this is number two, very close behind. I absolutely love it. There's not a dull moment, and I highly recommend it if you've not read it. The anime is currently out. There's only 2 episodes at this point. Okay, then this is We Never Learn. This is a romance series. This one started in 2017. Both this and we'll see. I don't know. That's the next one. Doctor Stone. Both of these 2 series started in 2017 and are the only series from 2017 that survived up to now. As we're on the subject, in 2017, I believe there were 9 series that ended, including Isobe Monogatari. That was the quite popular gag manga series, but it came to an end, and it had quite a small but dedicated fan base in Japan. Not sure how it was in other parts of the world, but yeah. This series here is Act Age. This one started 2018. I knew there was a series 2018. Nope. Nope. So, Act Age 2018 started in January, and I absolutely love the series. It's basically about this girl here called Yonagi, and her career in acting. She has the ability to use her memories, her own experiences, to portray or basically become the character. As we find out in the series, a lot of people don't like the way she acts because they believe it's not acting per se, but more like how do they call it? Uh, Life to act or something like this. But yeah, it's a very good series. The only thing I have to criticize about it is that there's a lot of characters that you barely remember their names. A lot of speech. I find myself breezing through the chapters only to the parts where she actually does something that's very interesting. And that's actually worked out for me despite that. And I've able to grasp what's going on. Um, it's been going on since last year, so it's been doing well, I guess, in the rankings. I have to check on that. But yeah, high hopes, I guess. I don't really think it falls into any major shonen categories. There's no romance in it. There's no action or adventure. Um, there's no. It's not really a sport, so it's an odd one. It's an odd one, and that's what I like about it. Um, okay, so the next one we have is one that you guys have been asking me to talk about, Jujutsu Kaisen. So I gave it a read, and it's a very interesting series. Right, the artwork is good. It matches the style of the story. The story develops at a decent pace, but I was a little bit bored at the start until it got to the part where we meet the first high grade curse, and that's when it started to become a bit more interesting for me. Um, the first chapter, for some weird reason, reminded me of the first chapter of World Trigger, with a creature attacking a school and then the main protagonist bursting through the glass to save the day somewhat. So it did remind me of that in a way. I mean, when you look at this artwork here, if you didn't know better, you could think it's World Trigger. World Trigger, I believe, moved to Jump Square last year. So yeah. So there's nothing really here to compare. But so next we have Shisunki Renaissance David-kun, I believe it's called, and yeah, it's a type of romantic comedy, somewhat. Very hard to describe. I've not read a lot of it, just like the first couple of pages. The artwork is very nice, very nice, very pleasing to the eye. Oh, that's one thing I should mention about Jujutsu Kaisen. It's very, very easy to read. Now we have I'm from Japan. Now, this is a very interesting series. It started out in September, I believe, 2018. I've not actually read it, but from what I've heard in terms of anime news, it's getting an anime this year, 2019, in April. And that is extremely fast. And it's only been running since September, so not a lot of chapters. Yet it's getting an anime. I'm very impressed. From what I heard, it's a gag series somewhat. So yeah, I guess I'll need to find where I can read this, and yeah, I'll probably even wait for the anime to come out. It's not a long wait now. Okay, next we have Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man. I have to admit, out of all the new series, it's the one I'm the least impressed with. When you read it, when you look at the art style, it seems like it's done by someone who doesn't have a lot of experience doing manga series. The artwork's confined to the panels, is very simple. The tone is very dark, which is fine. But yeah, I'm not very interested in the series. I would even use the word bored when I read it. Yeah, it's a shame. The idea was interesting, but I guess in a way the story let it a bit down. Okay, and the next one is okay. Now this is a series I have no idea how you pronounce. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Neolation, Ni Zerolation, Ni Raylation. It's like how you're supposed to pronounce it. This series interests me a lot. It's a brilliant idea. The art style is fantastic. It all goes very well. The craziness of the characters, the humor, the banter. It's all very good. I do have high hopes for it, but if it does not try and change its current direction, it may fail, which I hope it doesn't. But at this point, I'm saying it's great. It started in 2018, I believe, in December, so it's not long ago. Next, we have Hell Warden Higuma, which also started in December. Now, this series is okay. It's not too bad. It was an interesting read. It's not my type of series, unfortunately. But yeah, a very interesting art style. I'm not too sure about the story, but if it does run, good for it. Otherwise, I'll give it perhaps until spring before it gets cancelled, if it doesn't improve its storyline and such. Okay, righty. So, other than the new series, in 2018, like I mentioned before, we had World Trigger that moved to Jump Square. We also had Spring Weapon #1, and that got cancelled after a 2-year run. So yeah, I thought that would be worth mentioning. It's 2 years. It's still impressive, especially for a very strict and highly competitive magazine like Weekly Shonen Jump. So props to them. And I believe that's about it for Weekly Shonen Jump. So yeah, you guys can have a look at the site yourself, explore, maybe have a look at a few things around. Oh yeah, this is the 50th anniversary this year, I believe, for Weekly Shonen Jump, and it's also the 20th anniversary of One Piece, which I find confusing considering One Piece started in 1997 and not 1999. The anime started in 1999. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. Right. Right then, I believe I've covered all the series. Yes. Right then, let's move on to magazine. I won't take too much time here for this magazine. So Weekly Shonen Magazine, let's have a look at the series. So here we have the series for Weekly Shonen Magazine. I'm not going to go over each of these series as I did with Weekly Shonen Jump. I'm just going to go over the highlights. So here we have Eden Zero. This is the new series by Hiro Mashima, the author of Fairy Tail. Okay, moving on. Okay, this series here, you probably might recognize this character here. Especially if you've been, or if you watched the last, so fall 2017 anime season. This series is Kishiku Gakko no Juliet. I believe it had like 12 episodes in the anime. And surprisingly, this started in 2017 in October. It's about the time of the anime. Nothing really grabs my eye, but the thing that I guess I should mention is that in 2017, the tennis series Baby Steps, Fairy Tail, Aria no Kishi, which was the soccer series, and in 2018, we had Real Account, which ended. I believe it was moved back to the monthly magazine first, and then it ended. Not too sure on that. Of course, we had Fuka, which was fairly popular. That ended in 2018, and of course, Sure Dure Children, which is a hilarious series. I highly recommend a read, or if not, there is an anime, which is just as funny. So I highly recommend those. So yeah, just being brief, those were the highlights. Oh, Yamada and the Seven Witches, that also ended in 2017. Forgot to mention that. That was a hugely popular series, and yeah, it's not listed here. So yeah, that ended in 2017, and it had its own anime. Okay, moving on to Weekly Shonen Sunday. Oh, I should mention, if I go back here, Weekly Shonen magazine have also redesigned their site. It's not, I would say, as amazing compared to Weekly Shonen Jump, but at least they've tried to update their site, tried to stay a bit more relevant, so to speak. It's always good when things get revamped every so often, especially after 2 years. However, Weekly Shonen Sunday is still the same format. It looks totally identical to the last time I was on here. I believe this instead was red at the time, or blue, probably blue. So that's the only thing I've noticed has changed. Yes, this is still the same. I guess they didn't want to revamp their site. Okay, so the series in Weekly Shonen Sunday. So the one series we should always look for in Weekly Shonen Sunday is... there it is. Detective Conan. Meitante Conan. Of course, we have the 2 spin-off series, Kaito Kid, and then I believe this is Zero's Tea Time. I've actually not given this a read. If you have to, let me know how it is. Meitente Conan, that's a legend. One of the few series that can compete with the large names like One Piece, Doraemon, and hugely popular. I don't watch the anime as much as I used to, but I think I'm waiting for it to end before I binge it all. Yeah, a legend in its own right. Silver Spoon still continuing. A lot of the series here haven't really changed. That's the thing with Magazine and Sunday. It's not as competitive. They're not as strict compared to Weekly Shonen Jump. Most of the series running now are probably the same series as when I last looked at this 2 years ago. Okay, this is strange. I thought this series ended. So this is Zetkai Canon Children, I believe. Okay, I must have been mistaken. Okay, so let's talk about the series that did end. So in 2017, we lost Hayate the Combat Butler. We lost Keijo. So Keijo was that swimming series. I believe there was an anime as well for it. Then we had, we lost, I should say, Mushibuyo. That also had an anime. It was basically the series about samurais killing these strange kind of insect-like demons. And we lost Maggie in 2017. We lost Rin in 2017. In 2018, we lost Dagashikashi. As you guys might know, this Dagashikashi had 2 anime seasons, and it was fairly popular. But yeah, that ended. And those are probably all the main or large series that ended in Weekly Shonen Sunday. We did have a few other series that popped up, like I mentioned, Detective Conan, Zero Tea Time. Over here, this is a newish series that started in 2018. But yeah, I've not actually given most of these a read yet. So if there's any of these, or same with Magazine, that you would recommend for me to read, then do let me know. Or if you want me to actually review some of these, like I did with some of the series in Weekly Shonen Jump, then do put it down in the comments, and I'll try and get to those ASAP. And yeah, that's about it. Sorry if it seemed like I was rambling on a bit. I do that sometimes. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please look forward to my next video. Hopefully I'll be doing a manga update video next. So yeah, thanks for watching.